and which I hated. I hated it for my sophomore year. I could not stand the place. Anyhow, a friend of mine, and I don't remember who it was, I don't think she remembered either, says there is a cute girl named Jane Williams who would like to go out with me. And I says, oh, okay. And I had no idea who she was. And so we went on a date, and we looked at each other, and well, she was pretty hot stuff. She was not a cute girl, she was drop dead gorgeous.
She was.
And so for some reason, she thought the same of me.
Aww.
And now there's a brief musical. You don't have to know how to read or write when you're out with the fella in the pale moonlight. I won't listen to this song or my children.
Oh, it's both. It's both.
That was great. Sing it again.
So we went out for a while, and after a few days, she says to me, she always had two boyfriends. The whole time I we were dating, she always had two boyfriends. One for Friday night, one for Saturday night. She was a very interesting person, and an early feminist. People did not ask her for a date. She would ask them.
That's pretty advanced.
Yeah.
So, we've been going together for a while, and she says, I've dished boyfriend number 2. Demoted boyfriend number 1 down to number 2.
And you've been
you are
promoted.
number 1. And I said, and so are you. And we always were. Then things turned bad. I was sick of school, so I dropped out. Without having, I almost completed my junior year. If I'd taken another course, I would take it back next year for a senior. So, I was sick of it all. And I had been working summers at a company in Lorraine, so I quit. I walked away from school. I walked away from her. We never would see each other again. And I went to work in Lorraine, Ohio. Then I got a call from an old schoolmate of mine. And he had tried a year of colors and film. He set his factory. And then he was in the Air Force for a while. And he did a little prank, which the military was just a notorious lack of sense of humor. Thought he would do better in civilian life. So he was back in university, and it was the same one that Jane was attending, Ohio University. He says, you just come down here, you can be with your little hottie, and I like it much better than I did Case. So I looked into it and sent my transcript, and I was accepted as a transferring senior the following semester. And we were happy. We were really happy. I had no money. We had a standing date every Friday night for the free movie, which is all I could afford. and so we went. I did her homework and she did my laundry.
A great relationship. That's great.
So I came back the next fall and did 2 more semesters, and I graduated in January. And it was a curse had fallen on me, which I found out only later. My old schoolmate's girlfriend was also graduating in January. So I and her little girlfriend both graduated. We both lived in Cleveland. So I thought, well, I had nothing better to do. Why don't you be interested in here? So I called her. You want to go? Oh, yes. We went to concerts, we went to plays, we went to the opera. Everything was rosy. We were very fond of each other and totally kindred spirits. And then she began to wrap her coils around me.
Wow.
Marriage material.
So, my taste was comedies and Hitchcock in movies, but she made me see An Affair to Remember, South Pacific, and Farewell to Arms twice. And how am I to escape this venomous serpent? Fortunately, the federal government came to my rescue. While in the coils of the serpent, I had neglected unimportant things like getting a draft determined. So I was called up for a 2-year term in the military. And so then I went to work, got all the papers for a deferment, and I said, it's too late. But however, if you fill out these forms, you can get your sentence reduced from 2 years to 3 months. So I said, well, that's better than some very obnoxious thing that I could say. So I took it. And I was not definitely not military material, but anyway, my sentence was up. But while I was there, while I was in the military, she sent me a Dear John letter telling me that I was shallow and understood nothing of culture or art, and just a total nothing. Just did not make me feel good. And so I was discharged from the Army. Jane was now dating my old schoolmate, and here I was left out in the cold, and I was humiliated. I couldn't do anything. I could go to work, but I had no social life. And why I didn't call her up and say, can I come down and see you or something, I didn't. I was wallowing in self-pity for the entire summer. Finally, I thought to myself, it's now or never, Jim. So I called her up and says, please, honey, could I come down and see you? And she says, okay. I went down, and I says to her, would you marry me? And she says, you are a bleep, bleep, bleep. And I would not marry you if you were the last bleeping man on earth. Order the ring. I will catch the bus on Saturday, and we'll go see my parents on Halloween and tell them that we are getting married. So we went over to the parents. Her father was very happy about this match because I loaned him his Louis Armstrong LPs. His mother was suspicious. She thought I was possibly fast. And she says, are you going to graduate? Of course I'm going to graduate, Mother. And since graduation falls during Lent, we will get married on the Saturday after Easter. Her mother was satisfied that she was not, you know what. And we got married and lived for a long time. I lived together happily for quite a long time. And then she showed up with a spot on her mammogram. And she went in and had a biopsy and a lumpectomy, and everything looked rosy. And then it came back, and she had a mastectomy and chemo and radiation, and it seemed fine. And for a couple of months, then it came back. She says to me, "You are not capable of keeping this house up by yourself. We are moving. We will paint the interior of the house on evenings and Saturdays, and we will look for condos on Sundays. You will remarry." And she says to her doctor, "I'm going to die at home, and you are not to take any measures to prolong my life." So she died. It ends as it began, with Jane in my arms.
Oh.
And there's another anecdote, but it's so good, it doesn't fall into the story, but it's a great story. My boss was getting married for the second time. Somebody dropped a wooden leg.
Comic relief.
My boss was getting married. The reception was going to be in the lobby of the auditorium Stanley Paul's orchestra, the #1 society orchestra in Chicago. It was going to be there. I mean, all
What theater?
the auditorium building, the auditorium theater, designed by his grandfather, and the whole A-list of North Shore Society is going to be there, and I got an invitation too. So Jane says to herself, "I'm not going to be done by any. Well, I'm from North Shore." So she had her hair done, she had her facial, she got her nails done. She borrowed a gold lame dress that seemed to have been airbrushed onto her. And she walked in, and every man in the place was looking at her. And my boss comes over about a half hour later and says, takes me aside and says, "The most beautiful woman in this building is Jane Mitchell." I had a trophy wife. And she fit the bill because she drove a Mercedes. I hope you enjoyed my little story.
Yes.